This is the Boeing 1 month overview reading for the month of July 2024. It's currently June 3rd, 2024, 5:07 p.m. Eastern Time. Boeing at the time of this reading, $184.57, that's USD. The shuffle video for the July Boeing reading was created on May 24th, 2024 at 1:22 a.m. Eastern Time. That's the video playing for you in the lower left corner. The overall theme and behavior for Boeing in the month of July, we have significant price swings that'll stand out on a one-year chart scale as the overall theme. It's crossed with a period of sideways rotation, followed by a big move higher, followed by more sideways rotation at a higher price level. And it looks like probably that higher sideways rotation is probably where we see the highs. Behavior around the high side, the high significator being the Prince of Swords, indicates that we have a lot of price change to meet the high, or out of the high, or both, and that there'll be quite a bit of volatility. Usually you see a high more than once, or you see higher highs or something like that. It's kind of jagged behavior. Behavior around the low, we have a U-shaped dip that forms near the intersection of two perpendicular diagonal trend lines. So generally when you see the priestess in the low significator position, it's a low that forms between two peaks. Now, I'm going to get into the day-by-day chart behavior, as well as finding the highs, the lows, and the best trade opportunities. But before I do that, I just want to make sure you're aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities, or pick a charity of your choosing as long as you're paying 5% forward, and then 5% should be sent back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise or you can use YouTube tips, and that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let's get back into it. On the first, we have a period of bumping along resistance sideways, possibly breaking through, and then bumping along resistance sideways some more. There is a cross-trading congruency here with the July low card of the 1 year, although I don't strongly feel that there's like a lowest low here. However, keep in mind that we're price swing, so it's possible that there is a low there based on that cross-trading congruency. They're not always the most reliable, but frequent enough that's worth mentioning. There's a prominent peak on the second, so we probably bump along resistance on the first, out of a trough, bump along resistance, break through resistance, bump along resistance, and then that takes us into a prominent peak on the second that we sell off from pretty notably. Now that sell-off will either take place on the second from the peak, or it'll take place, it's probably going to take place from the peak on the second with a gap up or a higher open, I should say, on the third, prominent peak, and probably a highest high thus far for the month there in the early morning on the 6th, on the 3rd, we successfully turned resistance into support there. And remember, this is a half day as well. On the 5th, we have a period of a sideways fluctuating decline that does precede a notable rally, so we'll either see a rally there on the 1st, or there'll be like a gap up or a higher open on Monday morning. There's a trade opportunity. There's a significant trade opportunity here on the 5th that I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. On the 8th, we have a prominent peak on a 1 month scale that we sell off from down to and through support. We do a U-shaped reversal below support, come back and reuse that price level as support. There's a prominent peak and a prominent trough there on the 8th, so probably a good amount of price change. On the 9th, we have bearish price swings. There's a notable rally and a sharp drop. Both the rally and the sharp drop should stand out on a 1 month scale. So bearish price swings there, but be careful for that unicursal hexagram drop. And then we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance here on the 10th, followed by a decline through key support, and most likely we have our highest high for the month here on the 10th. There's a couple of places where we most likely have a highest high. It's hard to say which one will be the highest, but there's a few places where we have the highest probability of a highest high. It's here on the 10th, and then again on the 11th, there's both a sharp drop and a breakout to the upside, taking us to a highest high on the 11th. A prominent peak and a prominent trough there with a sharp decline, taking us into probably a lowest low thus far. Either that or it's the same low as the one that we saw here on the 1st. It's hard to say because of the price swings. It makes it very difficult to determine. Likely a lower open in the morning of the 12th, and there's a big move pushing the upper end of a range higher, either on the 12th or out of a trough at the end of the day on the 12th, and then over the weekend into a higher price level on the 15th. Actually, the 12th looks like a pretty significant decline. So over the weekend from the 12th, we'll push the upper end of a range higher. And here, this is probably the last location where there's a possibility of a highest high. It's not nearly as strong as over here between the 10th and the 12th, but there is some possibility here, so I will mention it. We have a period of sideways rotation on the 15th, probably after opening significantly higher. We have a period of sideways rotation. Actually, there's a pretty big move either over the weekend and or here in the morning as well to the upside. But we have a sharp drop after a period of sideways rotation along key support with a sharp drop from a peak at the end of the day or overnight, and then a big move to the upside on the 16th with at least a temporary breakout. So at this point in the reading, normally what I do is I review the prior month's reading, but we don't have a prior month's reading for Boeing. What you get in the paid version, guys, if you're interested in supporting the channel and you utilize this information regularly, it's really the right thing to do. And also, I mean, I know the names of everybody that does this because they're like my family. The way that you can get a custom reading done, like you have a ticker or a crypto symbol that you're interested in, you can get a custom reading done here. Under our services, SO Meta Post, scroll all the way down, custom monthly reading, click here to order. This is one of our pricier items, but the information that you get, you can't find anywhere else. Nobody even comes close to the same accuracy or detail. Now, keep in mind, we're not right all the time, so never trade like we are, you will regret it. And also, give it plus or minus a day of wiggle room here or there, depending on if the sequence of events is right on point or a little bit off. It could be a day here or there, but the sequence of events always remains accurate. So as long as you remember those things and you trade responsibly, you should do pretty good with this information, my friends. Again, found nowhere else, totally undervalued. You just put in the month that you're predicting and the ticker symbol or crypto. Specify crypto if it's crypto, and add to cart. Much appreciation to everybody that does that. So there's a prominent peak midday there on the 16th where we probably break out temporarily, and then rally either continues into the 17th, or we have a lower open and a rally into a resistance level on the 17th. Probably lower open and a rally into key resistance on a multi-day scale, and then we break down with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down from that resistance. notable reversal on a multi-day scale taking place there on the 18th, and it looks like it's a reversal to the upside. There's most likely a trough there towards the end of the day with a reversal to the upside. And on the 19th, we have a big move higher. When you see us rotating sideways at a higher support, so like there should be some sideways rotation, a big move higher, and then more sideways rotation at a higher price level here on the 19th. With that sideways rotation at the higher price level, that would be an exit from a long or an entry into a short. Probably an entry into a short would be a good way to go. And I'll talk about that in more detail in the paid version. So overall mixed day on the 22nd. I do see a sharp drop, and I think it probably is a sharp drop, either there's a sharp drop over the weekend or there's a sharp drop in the morning on the 22nd. There's a prominent peak towards the end of the day on the 22nd, and then from that prominent peak on the 23rd, we decline really sharply into possibly a lowest low. Some good trading opportunity here around the 23rd, 24th. I'll talk about in more detail. On the 24th, this is another location, high probable location of a lowest low here around the 23rd or 24th. This is the strongest probable location of a lowest low. It may be that it's the same lows that we had here at the 12th, because again, we're doing sideways, we're doing price swings. We should see a revisiting of a support level that we recently met once before that was important on a multi-day scale, as well as the decline. Then it takes us to a trough or a lowest low in the middle part of the day on the 24th, and then there's likely some sideways rotation, a big move higher, and then more sideways rotation, most likely. But on the 25th, we have a decline, a sharp decline with this unicursal hexagram energy, which, oh, by the way, I'm seeing this unicursal hexagram energy here in the fourth week in a lot of readings. But that decline, that sharp decline ends with a fast sudden move higher, taking us into a prominent peak on the cusp of the 25th, 26th, or early in the day on the 26th. The rally on the 26th offers opportunity to trade, which I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. And then on the 29th, the Princess of Discs indicating a lot of price change and an important support level on a multi-day scale that's highlighted, involved in that price change. In the morning, we have a sharp decline that'll stand out, and it's either over the weekend or in the morning. But we should see a lot of price change and then sideways rotation at an important price level, and that's that Princess of Discs price level. On the 30th, we have a prominent move higher and a full retracement. There's a cross-trading congruency there as well, giving it extra weight, but there's a prominent move higher and a full retracement that move back down. On the 31st, a decline to and through support to meet another support. We rotate sideways along that support before breaking down through more supports. Trade opportunity there as well. I'll talk about it in the paid version. And then the sneak preview for August, we have a sharp decline on a multi-day scale that takes place, a unicursal decline at some point. It looks like we revisit a support level that was recently a past opportunity there in August with some sideways rotation and a sharp